show coming from the RAC store. With this back in the Mac in the back flow. Let's go, chillin' with raccoons by the back door. Take calls so you can stake more. All I wanna do is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We wreck, will bitch, ready to fight. So many raccoons ready for the boss life. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Raccoon supply has the right price. Giving you respect if it's likewise. So I'm buying all the mean guys with the clean heart. Read between lies, laser beam through lean eyes. Warrior with clean lies, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise. NFT wise, fuck with these guys. It's the RAC lab from the back lab. 110 of these in my backpack. Crazy RAC lab from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack.
Good morning, RAC FM. Somebody light a candle. Oh, you know what I mean. Yeah, fucking cunts. Today, Saturday, April 8th, 2023. Arr. And this is RAC FM, your favorite breakfast cereal. Over to you, Bruce.
Nothing much, man. Just enjoying the weather from inside of my apartment. It's very nice today. Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I could say the same here. I'm thinking it'll be a nice day, but it's 7 a.m. here. So this week has been kind of cool. We were starting to get nice spring weather, and I was getting spoiled with the warmth that was coming back. And then all of a sudden, this cold front came through. So I just took the dogs out, and I was like eager to get back in quickly. It was so cold.
Where are you at, if you don't mind me asking?
I am in Kentucky in the U.S.
The chicken state. I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, KFC everywhere I go. I moved to Mexico, and the first thing people said to me when I got to Mexico, every time I met someone, they're like, KFC? I was like, yep, that's the place. Lots of KFC and lots of the Colonel jokes.
Yeah, I could imagine, man. It's the only thing that pops up in my mind.
And dude, that was the funniest thing. All over Latin America, everywhere we went, KFC's everywhere. It's like, you got to be kidding me. It's what Kentucky is known for now.
I can tell you Kentucky Fried Chicken is known as being the worst fast food chain here in Denmark. It's fucking...
It's pretty bad.
It is so bad. Like, I imagine it must be way better in the States.
Really, it's not. Like, even locally where I'm at, I don't think I've been to a good one since maybe the 80s or 90s. It's been that bad for the last couple of years. What I will say is their menu is great. So around here, you can go to a real restaurant and get fried chicken with mashed potatoes and gravy and biscuits, and it'll be excellent. But the fast food version is tremendously awful, dude.
Tremendously awful.
It's a special.
I think you're right.
It's a special kind of thing to fuck up mashed potatoes and gravy. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
But
yeah, absolutely.
They are capable of making it taste awful, and the consistency and the textures are, and they fill their chickens with hormones. I think that's what it is, dude. They have low budgeted themselves into that reputation of being the worst fast food chain. It's definitely one of the worst, I think.
It is here in Denmark, at least. It is. Oh, you said like the last time you went to a good one was back in the 80s. How old are you, Kris, if you don't mind?
I'm 44. So yeah, it had to be the 80s or 90s. But I was born in 78, so I'm approaching 45 this year. Or am I 45? Dude, I don't know. You start to get your 40s and you don't keep count nearly as close as you did previously.
I've never ever cared about my birthday. But like, if you're 44, man, then you and Finn, you had like the same. You must have the same values and cultural like perspective on life.
There is something about the generational perspective you come up in, and you don't notice it, I don't think, until you get older, and then it sticks out quite a bit more. And you're right. And even now, look at crypto people. Like you can kind of tell who is newer, who has been here for a while, and their age. A lot of the trends and consistencies you see throughout crypto, I notice, is very generational as well. It appears.
Talking about those changes, man, I've been working with kids for the most of my professional career, And I've started to notice that, those cultural differences in the generations. And the one example that really stood out for me was when one of the kids was doing the gesture of taking a picture, right? Because when I do it, I do like 2 hands up, like I imagine I have a photography camera, a camera in front of me, right? The kids do it like they have a smartphone, so they just.
Oh yeah, they're not using 2 hands and their index finger to press the button like we are.
Exactly.
They're holding up their phone and pressing their thumb, and you're like, "What do you? Oh, okay."
Exactly.
It's so wild.
I felt so fucking old, man.
Oh man, but it's sometimes you're on Twitter Spaces and Twitter in general, and you're around these young kids, especially with us in crypto. We do interact with pretty people that are probably younger than us on a normal basis, and it's awesome to see the positives and negatives. As much crap and BS as we see out of their generation, dude, some of them are smart. They're so smart, so bright. They came up in such a different way than we did, and there's a lot they need to work on, we would say, as our generation, but they also have a lot of tool sets to solve problems as they get older that we didn't have when we were their age, which is exciting to think about.
We just need more padded offices, I think. Like,
yeah, but I think nature and the world has a way to toughen people up, right? A lot of flack that we give them is they're too soft, and you need to coddle them and this or that, but culturally and the world they've come up in, they've been kind of protected, right? But if the world just takes them and dumps them right on their head, they will harden up in no time, and they won't have a choice, right? And people think that you can't do that, but once you get put in that position, you don't have a choice. The mass majority will come out of that much stronger and much tougher. It'll change their perspective on life for sure.
We will survive. Like, we're like the cockroach. Whatever happens, like we have
exactly.
We have the inherent will to survive, man. It's the same when I try to like squat the mosquito that's sucking my blood and it flies away. It's the same fucking will of surviving.
For sure. And I love, like, I don't have time to watch a lot of TV, but when I do, I do prefer shows that kind of touch on that topic. Like The Walking Dead was one of my favorite TV series, and that's one of the reasons why is it talks about taking people and culture and just completely ripping out everything that you thought you knew and all your comfort and putting you in those bad spaces. And humans are very resourceful and creative and tough when they need to be, but when they're brought up and they don't know any different, right? What do you expect out of them?
Exactly. It's a good point. It's very hard to break out of the cultural patterns and create anything new out of that, and like break the change of your upbringing and all that stuff. It's fucking difficult, but nonetheless, we have the ability to do it, and it's happening every single day. So yeah, there's beauty in everything. But bro, you can really talk, man. You just shifted that subject into a TV series in 2.5 seconds.
Man, that's one thing my wife says, Bruce. She says, you love to talk. And what's weird is, like, I'm kind of an introvert. I wasn't shy growing up, but it took me a while to warm up to people. And it wasn't until I got I had one specific job where I had to travel around and teach safety. And once you got used to being up in front of people and talking, and you were the quote unquote expert on whatever subject matter, it did get me used to public speaking a little bit more. So I always have this like anxiety. And I think we've talked about that just in your regular spaces before. As a group, we were talking about how sometimes it can be such an anxiety ridden thing to get up on here and speak publicly. But over time, dude, crypto has just brought me out of my shell. If it's crypto or MMA related, and that's the two things I talk about the most in my project, like I can just go and go and go. And of course, if that shifts into the other things, I enjoy talking about, a pretty wide variety of subject matter.
Man, yeah, that's one of the first impressions of you two as well. Like, you can really fucking go and you're passionate about something, man. Your DMs, man, my DMs with you is just so much info.
Dude, it's a blessing and a curse.
It's a blessing, man. It's like the Force with the Jedi. It's a blessing. to have it, man. You just need to aim it or adjust it into what you want.
It is trying to like funnel that into, something more productive and positive. Sometimes it's easy for me to go on and on and on. I was talking to someone, I have an AMA tomorrow on Discord, and most of the questions will be off the cuff. And this will be on the OmniFlix Discord, since that's where we're going to mint. And the guy sent me over a couple preloaded questions, more specific about the game, so I could kind of have an idea of what I wanted to say. And I started writing out my answers, and I realized, oh, this is way too much detail, way too much, it's too much meat. Like I need to I won't say dumb it down. I need to narrow the scope so that it's not so long-winded. And, people get lost in that sometimes. Like for every person out there that reads the DM, going off the hinge that like there's people that if they see like those 4 paragraphs in their DMs, they won't make it through the first paragraph, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just some people don't have that that ability or that want or drive to like see the full picture. My boss is like that. He's a very smart IT guy, Bruce. And if he asks me a question, I've had to learn over the years to give him a short, direct answer, because the minute I try to give him a detailed written answer, his eyes glaze over and he doesn't focus on all the details I've given him anyways. He just assumes or jumps to something that I said. So I've learned how to kind of narrow the scope, but it's super difficult for me to do.
And there's Bbandz.
Hey, Bbandz, what is up?
Lovely for her to join. Talking about the work and the jobs and everything, let's see if she's going to come up. You're also allowed just to chill back and listen, Bbandz. It's Saturday. Nothing is required of you.
Yeah, Saturday, no pressure.
Hey, I can't hang out here today, but as soon as I saw the RAC FM, I was like, I felt some kind of obligation to at least say hello. Because
hello,
I got to take the kids to do some Easter stuff, so.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But we were just saying as you jumped up, like I know you lose sound sometimes when you go from listener to speaker. I was just saying that nothing is required of you today. There's no expectations, Bbandz. It's Saturday.
That's how I operate. What do you mean? I can't let people down if they're not expecting anything from me. What are you talking about? Brother, you gotta get it right, man.
Oh man, we are on the same page, sis. I can hear it. I had a tactic every time I started on a new school or on a new education that I would start literally and deliberately to be 5 minutes late to every class. So they just knew he would be 5 minutes late. It helped me a lot through the time. Anyway, Kris, let's get into the matter at hand, right? Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry, I was putting one of my dogs up. He's going back and forth and barking at the deer that are 2 miles away from the house, but he wants to bark nonetheless. I'm like, you got to be quiet. I'm on the space and the port one.
Dogs. Well, you can't really blame him, right, man? He just wants that deer meat. Tastes good.
He's just bored. Wants to go from window to window.
So I want to start from the beginning really quick, Kris. Like I want to hear how you got the idea to build or start the Fight Bets concept and project.
Yeah, so I've actually had this specific idea for the MMA game since I first heard about NFTs. Early on, I didn't jump into NFTs right away, mainly because of the ETH gas fees, and I was kind of like taking hiatus from ETH. I did the ETH ICO. So I remember the ICO boom, and I remember the money grab. I mean, you can make a lot of money, but you also can lose a lot of money, and everyone's promising everything under the sun, and not necessarily delivering. So I remember early in NFTs, I was like, yeah, I just don't know if I'm going to jump in on this. But I said, but as soon as I see the NFT space kind of like create the tool sets for the kind of ideas that I have, and the technology is there, then I'll jump in. And I kept looking, I was looking at all the different EVM chains. I saw Avalanche getting popular. I saw Solana getting popular. And, Solana with the chain stoppages and stuff, I didn't want to mess with that. I did kind of mess with their NFT space a little bit. but not really. And then I was on Tezos for a while. I begged different places. I used to send DMs to devs and say, "Hey, when can we have NFT staking? I really need NFT staking for this game idea I have." So when, and I was asking for lots of features, and it really wasn't until I came to Juno and Cosmos in general that I noticed that, one, they were already building out a lot of the stuff I wanted and needed. And man, just access to the devs on Twitter. Like anytime they're on, you can, catch them on Twitter and Discord and all these spaces, and you can just kind of mention something. The next thing you know, they have it out, right? So I love this space. I love Cosmos and the NFT space here. I think IBC transfers is going to be huge. So yeah, this is something I've had in mind for quite some time, and I really just had to wait for the tech to mature enough to kind of get the idea. So DAO tech, the early DAO tool sets and tech wasn't where it needed to be for this idea to work, and the NFT isn't quite there yet either.
Awesome, Kris. So would you say that the sense of community is stronger over on Juno? What's your experience with that? Like, if the devs are way closer, it's easier to communicate with the teams, or?
Yeah, and not just Juno, but many of these spaces, dude. Like OmniFlix, like all it took was I went over there to do a test mint, and because they are a newer chain and they still have to release their token, and everything for them has been testing, release it to the community, let people build. But I went over there to do a test, and the first thing I noticed was you couldn't just mint, right? Which for me was a shocker. I'm like, what? I can't mint? I just want to mint so I can do a test mint, right? And but it sent me to their Discord to ask to request permission to get the ability to be whitelisted to mint. And man, as soon as I did that, from that point on, I've had an instant team of people around me just assisting me and answering questions. And it's like they have spaces and introduce you to the community. I'm not big into Stargaze. I did kind of test Stargaze a little bit. I was having some issues with the metadata, whereas I thought OmniFlix with their schema metadata thing was much easier for new people to kind of learn to use. But Stargaze is the same thing. You go over there in the community and the developers, and dude, just this, I can't think of chains that I've had more fun on since pre-2017 bull run. And that's just being real. I think after the Luna, like I really, really, really love being over on Luna. Like Terra Luna was one of my favorites. It really irks me because I think stablecoins are one of the biggest issues that you need to solve. And I think we see that now with the way the SEC and the government is trying to chase and regulate stablecoins. I think a decentralized stablecoin or some of these really crazy alternate methods of stable values that aren't necessarily pegged to US dollars or euros or fiat currencies, I think that's an important key to solve for crypto to have huge growth. And I'm very irritated because there was a lot of bad and craziness that went on Terra Luna, but from a community standpoint, I started there. I didn't come to Juno until when Juno first launched. It was about maybe the $5 mark. I'd heard about it. I wasn't an Atom staker, so I didn't get the airdrop. And I went over there. I purchased it because I started looking about DAO and DAO Up. And for you guys that have been there for a while, you remember DAO Up didn't last long because of some of the things that happened with some rug pulls and money grabs that happened early on. But DAO's matured and is going to have its own way to sell NFTs and do crowd sales and all that stuff. So that's kind of what got me into Juno. So my first couple months in Juno was just kind of buying it, creating a DAO, testing the software. But I was still on Clubhouse back then, and nobody on Clubhouse talked anything about Cosmos other than Terra Luna. And Terra Luna added the Cosmos SDK later, I think. So it's not like people in Cosmos as a whole embraced Terra, at least not a lot of. I feel like Cosmos was split on whether or not they liked Terra Luna and Do Kwon and everything that was going on over there. And UST is a stable coin. So yeah, I think that's what got me into it. And then once the Terra crash happened, I was kind of burnt out on crypto for a while. The people started dying and down. The only people left on Clubhouse really were the Bitcoin maxis, and there's a couple of tiny, smaller crypto rooms. But that's when I came to Spaces and kind of realized, like, oh, like, dude, the communities for Cosmos are all over here. They're all on Spaces. They're all on Twitter. And dude, after that was off to the races. I was like, holy cow! This is what I've been looking for, and I've been missing, because the level of community, the level of interaction on Juno and Cosmos here on Twitter and Twitter Spaces is phenomenal. And I think that's one of the big selling points going into the next bull market that's really going to stand out to people. Now, we all know once you have that growth, it does become more difficult. Like when you become a Polygon or an ETH or an Avalanche and you have that much more volume, it can make a huge difference. So I don't think that this lasts forever in the Cosmos space, because every chain matures to where it becomes just, devs are human beings. You can't be everywhere at once all the time. So people should really, really, really be thankful for this and take advantage of this while you have it, because it may not last past the 2025 bull run, I don't think.
Maybe it's going to all be a little more centralized. The more liquidity there's coming, the more people there are, the more centralized the news sources will be.
Right. And if just people get busier, right? If you have a space with, 25 to 100 to 300 people, that's pretty manageable for any team to kind of interact with most people in that space. But once you grow to a couple thousand per Twitter Spaces, you can't possibly interact with everyone. You can't answer every DM. You can't answer every question. So you only get this special amount of attention when the volume and the growth is lower and slow. And then once it's off to the races, that's why it's good to get in an early and establish relationships so that you're known before it becomes super popular.
It's a good perspective, I think. And we are still early, I think, because there's still a lot of attention, man.
Oh yeah, super early. But yeah, dude, good people, good crew, good developers. I love how easy it was to come in and just get to know people.
How's DAO been? DAO down in the DAO. How's that been?
Dude, I think it's the best DAO tool set. I know there's one or two over on EVM. I forget the name of it. I was in Clubhouse one day, and this guy that I'm friends with, he was telling me about one specifically that he uses, and it was a pretty rich, deep tool set, kind of like what we have with DAO. But being EVM, it has its own issues, and definitely the gas fees are always going to be a big thing on EVM-based chains. So, I mean, I prefer DAO, dude. I think this stuff, and when you go on their Discord and you talk to the guys in Discord that are actually building out DAO, your access to them to give them feedback and request special features and to get questions answered is pretty phenomenal. I really enjoy it.
I couldn't agree more, to be honest. Like, I've been in that Discord talking with them, and RAC FM actually received some DAO tokens today for the work.
Awesome. Yeah, I probably should go request some DAO tokens. I haven't done it yet, but people keep telling me I should since I'm building stuff on DAO. I probably will.
I agree, man. I even had it written down in my notes here for today's interview.
Yeah, I need to do it. But I will. But dude, like Noah, I love how they got the whole the hashtag thanks Noah. I like how the guys in there are super accessible. They can answer questions. And dude, my level of understanding and growth in DAO in such a short amount of time is definitely due to Twitter and Discord. If it wasn't for the amount of help they'd have, I'd still be trying to figure some of this stuff out.
It is a bit difficult, I would say. And I think DAO would really be perfect if there could be some top of some sort of UI on top of it.
Right, and that's something that I think that you'll see in general. I don't think normies and regular users are going to be. Maybe they'll get DAO eventually, or younger kids and their generations come up understanding DAOs will just know it. But for your average person, DAO can be pretty intimidating, even though we look at it and think, oh, this is cool. This is pretty easy. I understand all these different features. And, but for even thinking about my gameplay right now, I would probably attract some crypto people. But if I want to attract MMA or sports fans to do fantasy sports and sports betting in general, are they going to come get on DAO? Probably not. Now, if you go to like Windex, or you go to anything that's using a DAO version or a DAO fork, you know that the UI and UX can be adjusted to interact with DAO on the back end. And that's pretty much what we'll have to do is we'll have to build out eventually a front end that feels more like a fantasy sports site or, a fantasy or a sports betting site, and have that interact with DAO. And that's what we're bringing in, like your normal non-crypto users. Because even then, you're going to have to educate them on Kepler Wallet. Maybe you're going to have Cato built in so you can use their credit card to buy stable coins. You probably need a DEX right there on site to trade those stable coins to whatever tokens you're using to bet on the games. There's a lot to think about for UI and UX and the customer experience when you're trying to attract non-crypto people into the space.
And that is like, we really want that. We want way more liquidity over here, way more volume. So I think it's a really, really, really important part of the project, but it's going to come. I'm sure of it. Like, people can just make it. And I think that's also part of your plans, right?
Yeah, and I don't expect this to be a huge project or a huge amount of volume here in a bear market. I do think trying to accumulate as much crypto as you can in the bear market is smart. That way you can take advantage of the price appreciation and the staking rewards going into the 2024 Bitcoin halving and the hopeful normal 2025-26 Bitcoin bull run. I think that accumulating as much crypto, because everyone's like, oh, well, you only did 10 bets testing this week, and those 10 bets netted you 6 Juno. Okay, yeah, Juno at $1, who cares? But Juno at $45 to $100, that's what we're thinking, right? So for us, it makes sense to do as much testing, as much building, and try to start holding as many games as we can while the crypto prices are in the dumps, because it's not like we would cash any of it out right now. What we would do is stake it and hold it and let that price appreciation and the staking rewards come in, so that hopefully by the end of the next bull run, going into the 2026-27 bear market, if the 4-year cycles act like normal, then you can, cash out the top and build the front end in the next bull market or the next bear market.
Smart.
So it's a slow process, and there's a lot of strategy on how to do this, especially when you're trying to do it without a lot of capital, because I don't want an ICO. We will make some money off the NFT sales. And I do think that even though people may not be MMA or UFC fans, you never know. If our NFTs are cheap enough and people realize we are going to do a 10% airdrop to every NFT holder. So if we have 30,000 different cards, NFT cards, for these 600 UFC fighters, roughly 50 cards per fighter, and you take 100 million bets tokens, 10% of that is 10 million tokens, and you airdrop that to 30,000 different NFT card holders, that's roughly 333 bets per NFT if every single NFT were to be purchased and staked before the snapshot time. So hopefully that's enough to drive all of them to be sold. But if not, there's going to be a lot of strategy later on for the ones that aren't sold, because every single month you're going to have a UFC fight, and there's going to be certain fighters on that card whose card can be used to play in game or to stake for bets. So I think there's a lot of strategy from a marketplace perspective that we're going to see. And, if I can just drive home enough sales in the bear market, I think that'll pay dividends once we get price appreciation going forward.
You heard it here. Alpha for an ad drop, guys. So
10%, Bruce. It's not a lot, but it's going to be a lot when you consider this is not one of those tokens where we're going to reward you. Like, we're not using inflation of bets to give to bet stakers. So it's going to be a very, very, very tightly controlled emission. You're only going to On Fight Farm, you're only going to earn a certain number of bets for playing the game, a certain number of bets for staking one or both of the fighters in a fight, and you're going to earn bets to curate the games by voting and creating the different proposals in the DAO. So, but you got to remember, like, this is just a small Fight Farm is just a small piece of JunoBetz and the Betz token as a whole. Like, we don't want to allocate 100% of the supply to go to Fight Farm the game. If the idea is to have this become a fantasy sports betting DAO and introduce other sports, then you have to leave a lot of the liquidity locked up in the DAO to give to teams to build those other sports games and to reward their people for playing. So it's not going to be 10%. Doesn't sound like a lot from an airdrop perspective, but when you consider the early liquidity, that's going to be like at least 33 to 40% of the total supply of liquid. It's a pretty big chunk of it.
Yeah, but it's also healthy to have some decent tokenomics, man. Sustainability is the not the only, but like should be alpha and omega in your perspective during a bear market, especially when launched.
Yeah, and I think I sent you a lot of that in the DM. And the way we're doing our tokenomics is pretty unique. We'll have our white paper out. I keep going back and revising it, but eventually we'll have our white paper out that explains all the games, all the staking, and it's going to explain the tokenomics a little bit more in depth. But I think people are going to be shocked and surprised at the tokenomics. I've already had a lot of different people on different crypto teams look at me and say I'm crazy because they're like, dude, there's no way this is going to work. You're not going to be able to afford to pay yourself.
Do you, is the white paper out already?
No. We're close to releasing it. I'll definitely
because I love reading white papers. I don't think you understand. That's like my favorite thing to do. And as soon as something new comes out, I like want to get my eyes on it.
Well, I'll definitely bring it in here. I'll probably bring it to you guys and let you guys proofread it first because I trust y'all's judgment and opinion, and I'd like to get at least one or two eyeballs on it before I make it public. But yeah, I think the tokenomics part will shock people, Bbandz, because using inflation, don't get me wrong, there's good and there's pluses and minuses for doing that. You've seen the conversations on tokenomics and the Cosmos space, particularly because we have massive amounts of inflation on most of these chains. And I don't think it's sustainable. And I don't think it's fair to your stakers in a DAO or your players in the game because they get dumped on constantly, not just by the developers, but look at the drama that comes up on who gets funded with community funds, right? And all that's from inflation. So yeah, you might get funded, but all you're doing is dumping on me, the staker. And even if I find like what RAC FM or what other people do is value, I just think that eventually crypto needs to mature. And if you aren't able to fund your community with like actual revenue of actual products sold, then you're not going to make it. This has sufficed to help launch crypto, and it was useful at first, but over time we see the same things happen over and over and over again. Now, I think the good thing is it doesn't have to be a bad thing for Juno or Osmosis or any of these ones that have high inflation and stuff. I think long term, they're going to be able to do some things to fix their tokenomics, and the communities will kind of force them to as these chains mature. But from a project perspective, like what we're doing is risky because we're not doing your traditional, hey, the devs are going to take 30% of this and the community fund's going to be 30% of this, and we're just going to dump all over everyone. You see what I'm saying? Like, we want to try something different, and there is a little bit of risk to it, and it definitely prevents us from being just a money grab. But I think people will realize the way we have this set up is if you have a product, and I think that our product will be like that, maybe not at first, but I think over time, if we can grow the community and we can grow the game and we can give someone a chance to come in and have an experience, I think eventually you don't care what the crypto market's doing. You don't care whether the price of Bitcoin or your token is up or down, because every single bit of revenue that you create is how you reward the development team and the stakers. That means if I'm having a $5 bet on each fight tonight, I don't care whether Juno is $1 or $100. All I know is I got $5 of Juno per bet, right? And that's how I think crypto eventually is going to become, if you want to survive long term, is you have to start getting out of the inflation mindset and start getting into running it more like a real business, which is not easy, but I think that's the direction crypto will be forced to go.
Thanks, Kris. Just a quick reset. Talking about Kris and Fight Farm tokenomics in general. If you want to make it, Kris, I think you need to get Robo and the NEC to approve your white paper. Robo will take care of the grammar and the language, and the NEC will take care of your tokenomics. That would be your best bet.
Oh man, yeah, I can't wait for you guys to read the white paper. And you know, I take criticism well. So if people see something and they think it's bullshit, or they think it sucks, or they think it's not going to work, like I challenge people to tell me, and I'll have the conversation with them all day long. If I could only tell you how many of my friends who started projects over on Avalanche and some of these EVM chains looked at me and said, "You're crazy," and they basically encouraged me to launch our project and do like every other team and do like a money grab where we get 30% of the supply, and even if it's like set up where we only get a certain amount for the next 2 or 3 years or whatever, you know. And I'm not blasting people that do that. That is the culture of launching a project in crypto. It's just the way people do it. It's like the post ICO way of doing it. They didn't want to have a crowd sale. They didn't want the SEC knocking on the door. So what do? We airdrop it to everyone. That'll give it a market price, and then we're going to keep X%, and then we're going to have the community have X%, and that's how we're going to fund everything. Like it's not that I'm judging that and saying that people that do that are criminals or crooks or whatever. I'm just saying I think there's a better way, and I think that if you want to see long-term sustainability, you have to start to change your mindset. Like those ways of doing it, I think eventually they're going to fade. You're going to see in the next probably 2 Bitcoin 4-year cycles, the next 2 bull runs, I think you'll see a lot of that old way of thinking fade away. I think it has to for these things to become more sustainable and survive bear markets.
Very long perspective you have on things, Kris. Very long perspective. It's nice to hear from a dude that's starting a new project.
Oh, thank you.
And talking about your project and tokenomics and all that, like, what reasons are there to buy into your project, Kris, to buy your NFTs for the user when it's not a cash grab?
Right. So here's the thing. We will have to attract MMA and UFC fans and people that like fantasy sports games or betting if we want to be successful. But I don't think that's going to be our initial customers, and I don't think it has to be our only customer. I want the NFT and the DAO experience and the kind of the game that's below the game. This is you buy an NFT for a fighter, you go and you bet it, and you win crypto, you win NFTs, and you earn some bets tokens for playing. Ultimately, at the core, that's what the game is, right? But let's say Robo, and we know he is a UFC fan, but let's say Robo hates the UFC, but Robo is a big NFT freak, and he loves to come in and flip NFTs. He loves to come in and find ways to create revenue off NFTs, and he doesn't necessarily care how the NFT generates him revenue. He's just a crypto player, right? I think there's a strategy to our NFTs because they're tied to a real world event. Like maybe Robo and Bbandz don't give a shit about UFC, but if they start to realize, hey, the floor pumps and certain cards, there's a certain number of sales every single week based on a UFC fight, what will they do? They'll start to say, well, let me look up and see the next 4 UFC fights in the next month so I can go front run and purchase these NFTs. And if I've got 50 NFTs per fighter and only 2 have sold, that means I can buy the other 48 for 1 to 2 Juno a piece and mark them up to 4, right? Because if you know which fighters are popular for sure, there's less risk in that. No, you could buy. But
Kris, you need to factor in that Don is gonna make some pump and dump group chat on Twitter.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Manipulate the whole market.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of manipulation. People are going to know because the NFTs have a demand to be used. You can only play the NFT when the fighter's fighting, right? You can only stake the NFT if the fighter's fighting. So here's another thing we've done, Bruce. If John Jones and Cyril Gaines are having their fight they just had, and you know that, and you go to the marketplace and you buy their NFTs, you don't want to bet on that fight because you think it's too close to call, or maybe John Jones NFT is worth $700 and you don't want to risk losing a $700 John Jones NFT versus Cyril Gaines is only a $200 NFT. You're like the offset of price is not enough to risk it in the fight, because if I win, I only get $200 NFT maybe, but if I lose a $700 NFT. Well, you don't have to bet on the fight. You can go and you can stake it into the DAO, and every time you stake it, like if you stake one NFT on a fighter, I think we're going to give you 3 bets. If you stake both sides of the fight, both NFTs, you'll get 7 bets. And what we do is we have a 48-hour period 2 weeks prior to the fight. Why do we do it that way? Well, because as soon as you stake it, we'll take a snapshot. After everyone's there, you've only got 48 hours to get your fighters in there. We take a snapshot, and then you can unlock your NFT. There's a 4-week unlock. So what that does is that makes it 2 weeks prior to the fight, you have less availability and less liquidity because maybe half of the NFTs got staked, and they won't unlock until 2 weeks after the fight. So what does that do? The demand is driven up to buy it for staking and for betting in the fight. And if you're a seller in the market and half the NFTs just got staked and locked up for the next 4 weeks, or if you win one of those NFTs in your bet in the fight and you go to the market and sell it, you have less competition to sell. So I think the way we've done that is pretty smart. We've kind of like messed and manipulated the supply and demand to give sellers the most money leading into the fight and post-fight if they were to win an NFT. And that was done on purpose. We want our players and our people who hold our NFTs, for those NFTs to hold value and to drive value. And if you think about it, what did we just see? Unify or whoever it is, they're doing like lending where you use your NFTs as collateral. If you have real world demand tied to a real world fighter who fights multiple times per year, and your whole NFTs are based on, hey, there's going to be demand for your 2 to 3 UFC fights every single month, both for staking, which gives you revenue, and for betting, which could give you revenue. I think that's going to hold such good value that you're going to see a lot of them get locked up as collateral, which means that there's even more demand. So I think that's going to impact the prices. I think it's going to impact how much we have to mint on popular fighters who are in demand. I'm excited to see how many non-MMA and non-UFC people jump in on this just from a profit motive market manipulation perspective.
Sounds like you thought about everything, Kris. So that's like 2 points of 2 points of speculation, right? You can use it for betting, or you can like use it to just flip it, right? What about if you just want to hodl it and you believe in the project and you see this more like a trading card game?
I think the hodlers will be the ones at stake, right? Because if you're a hodler and you're like, man, there's only going to be 50 John Jones when you first mint. Well, guess what? If the demand goes up and a lot of these John Jones cards get locked up in staking, and they get locked up in lending platforms to borrow as collateral, and some people are just hodlers. They don't want to risk, like maybe John Jones sells for $2 to Juno on mint day, and then the price immediately is listed for like $500 because he is John Jones. I think that there will be a lot of people who just want to hodl and be a collector, because it is set up to be ultimately it is a trading card, a collectible trading card. It's like a throwback to the early days of baseball, basketball, football cards. We want that digital version, and there is a balance that we have to keep on supply and demand. Like, we don't want to over mint. One thing we're doing as well is if you have a retired fighter, someone who's inactive, you can buy a legend card. The legend card is only going to be 5 cards, like 5 NFTs per fighter. So you have much, much, much less supply, and there's going to be some special abilities for that legend card to come in and be bet on anyone's fight, and they can stake at any time. There's going to be some perks for that, right? Well, initially, the legend cards will be auctioned. Everything else will just be listed for a set price, and we're going to have auctions on legend cards. So most likely hodlers are going to go try to buy those legend cards and auction them for the special abilities and also price appreciation. But in the future, what we want to do is say John Jones fights for another 5 years, Bruce, and he's so popular that we have version 1, version 2, version 3, and version 4. And then John Jones finally retires. If you buy one of every single version and you hodl it, at the very end of his retirement, once he retires and he's no longer fighting, if you take every single version of John Jones card on Fight Farm and you burn it, you can combine that into one legend card, which will have the special abilities. So there's a lot of gamification that we're going to do to reward hodling, and me and my new partner. Right now, I started with one partner, Omer, and he's in Mexico. He's one of my wife's friends that I met when I lived down in Mexico for a year, and he's my initial partner. But we just brought in another friend who used to be one of my roommates, and he used to work with me at an IT company. And he's really creative. He's a really big UFC MMA fan. And we've been actually discussing some of these things you can do for special cards and special abilities in the game and long-term hodling. So we have some surprises. I can't spill all the alpha just yet, but I did spill just a little bit of alpha. You will be able to combine cards in the future and burn them for very special legend cards.
Amazing, Kris. That sounds really, really fun, man. Like, you really put in a lot of gamification, as you said, into this project. And I just want to ask how long is your vision for this project? Because now you mentioned like John Jones' whole career and hodling the NFT.
It's super long term. I mean, the way we set up our team rewards is myself and Omer will get 10% of the supply, and we only get to unlock. It's all staked, so we have voting rights, but we only get to unlock a portion of that supply once a year for 16 years. So I'm at least in this for the next four-year Bitcoin cycles. That's how long my vision is on Fight Farm. Now, I can't say that every single game for JunoBetz is like that. I'm not going to do basketball. I'm not going to do golf. I don't care what Timmy says. I'm not going to do ultimate frisbee. If other people want to come into JunoBetz and they want to bring a team of one or two or a team of people and they want to do other sports and build sports games, that's what the DAO is there for. That's what the token's there for. They may have different timelines and perspectives on their games, and that's going to be a very fun part of the DAO. As a Betz token holder, everyone's going to have a say and some influence on what these other sports look like and how much tokens they can reward their players, etc. But for just Fight Farm and my initial launch of the game that I want to do for MMA and UFC, and maybe eventually adding in other MMA organizations like Bellator or One, it's definitely at least a 16-year timeline, because all of my tokens will be staked. Every year we'll unlock a portion of those tokens, and some of that will be liquid. A very small percentage, 32%, I believe, will be liquid. So Omer and I can either pay ourselves or restake it. And then 68% will go back to the DAO to be redistributed, either to fund more teams or reward more players, reward stakers, reward these other sports. So it's a 16-year timeline at minimum for Fight Farm based on how we structured our payouts on our percentage.
16 years, I think that's almost unheard of.
16 years, dude. I mean, that's the thing, dude. UFC and MMA is not going anywhere. UFC was like a $2 million company back in the 90s when Zuffa Entertainment bought it. When they sold it for $4.2 billion back in like 2014 or 2015, like it was a $4 billion company. I think right now it's valued at $12 billion. And they just did that deal where Endeavor, who owned UFC, just signed a deal with WWE for pro wrestling, and they're going to create a new company valued at $21 million. I don't think MMA and UFC is going anywhere. I think we've just kind of got the tip of the iceberg now that it's on ESPN and they wear like more coordinated outfits. It's just now starting to kind of become what most people would consider a professional sport. So for me, my timeline is like, dude, there's no telling what the growth will be like, but I don't care what the Bitcoin market's doing. I don't care about the price of Juno. I don't care about the price of Bitcoin. Bull market, bear market, nobody cares. If people play fantasy sports or people like sports betting, sports NFTs are something that will do well in any market. And you don't care what the token price is. So if you build If you build your game and your project around being dependent on the price of your token, every bear market's going to suck. We're not doing that. We're building it around selling NFTs, creating a game, the fees in the game. We don't care about the price of crypto. Yeah, if it's high, it's high. If it's low, it's low. Who cares, right? But yeah, I think it's a long-term vision, and it's one that we can do no matter what the market is. And I think that's going to change people's perspective on how you build out a project in crypto. And I know not every project needs to be just like this, but you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's good to see some new ideas on tokenomics. Very refreshing.
We're definitely going to try to do it different. So as soon as the white paper is ready, I'm going to make sure Bruce and Bbandz and Robo are the first three to kind of get a sneak peek at it. And you can give me all the feedback, because if I get a tongue lashing from Robo, or if I get some shit talking from Bbandz, I think I might need to correct some things before I release it to the public. I'd rather have you guys do it than the public do it.
Thanks, bro, man. We really appreciate that. That's also a part of what RAC FM is for, man. Just a quick quick shout out, or what you say, just information for the guys down in the listener spots. Go up in the nest to the middle tweet, the second tweet. Go into the alpha.omniflix TV. It's the second drop out of 10. Remember, you collected, guys. At one point, it will be too late. I don't know when, but it will happen. I had a question for you, Kris, about how you're gonna onboard the new users that is not crypto interested. Because as you say, like bear market, schmer market, doesn't matter when you have a product that's not dependent on token price, but you're kind of dependent on users like everybody else, right? And right. your main base of your demography must be MMA fans, right?
Exactly, and ultimately you're right. But I think in order to do that, Bruce, you have to have a good UI UX, and we are starting from the ground floor with zero funding. And depending on how well our first 2 or 3 runs of NFTs do, will depend on how quickly we get the front end. I think you have to have a good front end with a good UI UX. Yes, there's going to be Kepler Wallet. Yes, there's probably going to be Cato integration, so you can have a new user use their credit card and buy USDC or whatever the token is for the first time. And there's probably going to need to be some walkthroughs and some good user experiences built to attract MMA and UFC fans who aren't necessarily into crypto. But that's like the long-term vision, Bruce. I don't think that we have to be so hyper-focused and think that if you don't have capital to build the front end, you can't do that anyways. Like none of them are going to come in and use DAO, and we're very aware of that. What I do think is that the people who are here today, the people who are in Juno and Cosmos and DAO, I don't think they have to be UFC or MMA fans to appreciate the fun gameplay and the NFT market play they can do to flip NFTs and manipulate the market and stake for the BETS token and go dump it. And, there's a lot of things built in for people who aren't necessarily UFC fans, but they are NFT and DAO fans. So I think our initial customer is going to be try to attract people who are already here, who are already familiar with DAOs, who are already familiar with NFTs, who already like to take advantage and have fun and make the most profit they can in NFTs. I think that's your first customer. Then as the 2024 Bitcoin halving happens and we start to enter that bull territory, usually by December post-halving going into the new year, that's when you might see a lot of new people on board into crypto. And we would definitely begin to chase new people, because even if they aren't familiar with NFTs and DAOs, everyone's in learning mode. Everyone has got that bug. They've got that greed factor. They're here to make money. They're here to learn about new things. And the first time they invest in a token and it flips and they make a 10x or 100x, what's the first thing that they do? Well, let me go find an NFT, or let me go find a game, or let me go find another token that I can buy. So I think there's a strategy of attract who's here now, attract the new people in the bear market. And as long as we play our cards right and we can build capital with the NFT sales and stake that and then get price appreciation, then we can hire someone to build up the front end. I love what Wind has done. I mean, ours wouldn't look like Wind because there still looks like proposals. Ours are going to have to be more of a gamified front end that looks more like a fantasy sports or sports betting platform that interacts with DAO on the back end. I've started getting quotes for that. Let me tell you, it is quite expensive. I've heard anywhere from $40,000 to $120,000.
Talking of Chris, just talking about expensive, man. Be careful with taking a leap of faith with Kepler. That's all I have to say, man.
Oh yeah, and I was just using Kepler as the generic popular, wallet.
Gotcha.
I know that I know we have Leap. I have Leap installed. I know there's this new one coming that everyone was tweeting about, and no one seems to have tested it yet. But yeah, I think that we would.
Oh, I appreciate that, Chris. I appreciate that little one you put in there.
Yeah, I also want to see because that's the one made by Umi, right? And then we have Sonar coming from Kuji. I think by the time we get ready to build a front end, we'll have multiple options for wallets that we'd want to integrate. And yeah, I'm not like I love all the wallets, but yeah, I'm not sold on just one. But yeah, I think that
I just want to say hi to Robo, man.
Yeah, what's up, Robo?
What do you think about Kris, man? Seems like he knows his stuff.
I don't even know where to join the conversation because I did have a point earlier, which I'm going to swing back to very, very fucking quickly. The one thing I will say is that I wish I could have connected earlier. Bro, I was out, and for some reason it's the same as Joe's the other night. I was just trying to get connected and it fucked me off. Kris, I think you've hit the nail on the head when you were talking to Bruce there, and I don't know if Bruce picked up on it. The hardest sell for Kris is to act like proper UFC fans. Onboarding NFT dudes like us people who flip on Stargaze and who love NFTs, that's going to be really easy. Just for people who have skin in the game. The DAO people, the DAO, like hardcore of us, they're easy conversions to this shit. What people didn't get is the hard sell for Kris is that the UFC fans who, they might interact with blockchain, or they might own some Dogecoin, or they might blah blah. They might even be a bit more involved. But how does Kris, transition these people who are real hardcore fans, like Green Pill, for example, these kind of people? I mean, Kris, I might be able to get you in touch with Green Pill. If you can, if your shit's good enough, if your stuff is up to standards and it's worthy of talking, and I believe that listening to you and talking to you for weeks now, Green Pill might be able to give you a little push in the right direction. I think I might be able to put you in touch with him, for sure. But that's the problem, isn't it, Kris? How do you target real UFC fans, the hardcore? Yeah,
exactly. And yeah, we'll swing back in a second to that too, Robo. Make me familiar with who Green Pill is. But on your point, you're right. I don't think attracting NFT and DAO people will be hard. I think the biggest challenge will be having a good enough UI UX and a good enough marketing and make it easy and exciting enough that someone that is just a regular fantasy sports, sports bettor, or UFC fan would give it a chance, right? We all know that most crypto projects that want to attract mainstream users, no one has figured that part out yet. The gamifying, the GameFi that we saw in the last bull market, it kind of did, but it kind of didn't. I do think, if not this bull run, I think the 2028 Bitcoin halving, 2029 bull run, by then, I think that's when you'll really see huge growth. I think there needs to be some more maturity before you can kind of get that level in there. That doesn't mean we won't try to chase it, but yeah. But yeah, back to who's Green Pill, Robo? I'm not familiar.
When you're talking about all the UI and stuff like this, right? There's this is the thing about the trade-off with Web 2, Web 3, right? Obviously, your entire thing operates on chain, correct? Yeah. Obviously, if you're running it through DAO, blah, it's 100, right? Okay. Therefore, when it
you do that on chain, there become certain limitations. I don't know if Bruce has asked this today. Like, have you experienced any particular massive limitations before we swing back round again? I'm wondering, like, are you thinking like, oh, I might have to offset this or offset that, or are you able to do everything you want to do on chain, or what?
We're for the most part, we're able to do most of what we want to do. We're actually, for what we're doing, we need to use multiple DAOs.
I didn't ask about most. Are you 100% on chain with all of your transactions in regards to what's going on or not?
Oh yeah, as far as the game, the actual gameplay, it's 100% on chain. Nothing. Every fight, every bet is a proposal into DAO. Every NFT right now is minted in the DAO. Every payout and pay in is in the DAO. Eventually, we will offset our NFTs to OmniFlix and IBC them over to be used in the game. But yeah, it is 100% on chain. There are things that we want to do gameplay wise, and that we would like to have the DAO run it in a different kind of way. And I've made those requests to DAO to see if that's a possibility.
Okay, I only asked because we could have RAC. By the way, I mean RAC bet, and we could have made trade-offs. And for us, it wasn't worth doing it. If you look at like the time scale of what blockchain will be able to do, blah, blah, blah. It was a kind of case of like, well, okay, we might have to like leave this game until there is a 3-second block time, but there will be soon, like we can capitalize on. It's like, I don't know, Bruce, am I talking shit? Because that's been an exciting day and I'm a bit pumped actually over it.
No, you're all good. You're not talking shit. But yeah, that's been the talk of the town in the beginning for the RAC guys.
Yeah, and I think that kind of betting, Robo, that kind of betting is where you're constantly, people are taking their spins and they're constantly playing. That can be hard. That's a hard problem to solve. The good thing about ours is you're betting on a fight and then you have to wait for the results. It's a lot slower moving. So the blockchain part isn't as much of a challenge as what you guys are doing. I'm still amazed at how well the raccoon bet works because it's so... I was even thinking about that. Like, how do they make this work 100% on chain?
They do with the giga brains.
Imagine what's coming. Honest to God, I feel sorry for the people that didn't know what's coming. But anyway, not to distract. Bruce, I missed the first I heard you talking about tokenomics when I come in. I saw your woman Bbandz is here. Hello, Bbandz, darling.
Hello.
Hello, darling. Did you apply on OmniFlix for that second NFT or what?
No, I'm sitting by the window smoking a blunt, relaxing and listening to everything going on right now.
That was last night. Last night we did that, by the way.
Oh, I already did that one from yesterday. Oh, I thought this was a new one.
No, it's
all right. The same one. You've seen it. You've seen it in advance. Nobody else. We haven't. None of us have published it. No one's seen it yet. When that drops,
what was the link from yesterday or last night for you? That's link.
In the.
Or is that the old one?
No, alpha.omniflix in the nest.
Yes, I see the link.
Guys, I'm not going to hijack this. Wait, Kris, you're going to love this. Rebel DeFi's just arrived in Bangkok tonight. Can you believe this? Apparently he's here. Can we bring him up or not? He's in my hometown. Rebel DeFi's here. Oh, dude, Winston's looking at me and
I just want to ask Kris before we go into this part of the show. Kris and I, we agreed upon an hour and we have passed that, but I just want to ask him if there's anything he wants to say before we kind of change the mood.
Yeah, just thank you guys for having me. I appreciate all the attention and feedback. And I know you guys don't have to do that. I love what you guys do. I love to give negative feedback and call things like they are. I think that's very important in the space. I enjoy it. I think it's very entertaining. I think what you guys do is fantastic. The team you put together, Robo, is phenomenal. All of them bring value. So thank you for having me. I definitely can't wait to come back. And thank you for the shine that you've given me and my project. We're new. We're trying to build this from the ground up. And without people like you, no one would know who the fuck I am. So definitely thank you. One last thing is...
You do it. Before you move to the last thing, can I just say something? You're doing shit with Dow that like all of us like highly appreciate. So like I'm trying to keep quiet about this because I'm like pumping RAC FM Dow, obviously. And I kind of get too engrossed in other people's Dows, if you know what I mean. But if I could in public, I'd be like, hey, these are trying to, and that's really interesting what you were saying about like changing like the interface of it, like what Wind did, like Wind is just like Dow effectively. You know, with a bit of like programming and engineering and blah blah blah, right?
It's a fourth version, right?
If we could get someone to like work on RAC FM now, fucking Jesus Christ, bro, we have not. How do we get there? Listen,
can somebody tell Coin Landing Page to fucking make a UI page for DAOs instead?
Myself and Gelato have got together and realised that, like, listen. Juno is only going to become really fucking strong. Like Jake and them can make the tools. Yeah, fantastic, right? But like, who's going to use them? Who's going to utilize and like power max this shit, right? Kris, listen. And I've been like, I held off on coming in tonight because like I wanted to give Bruce his moment to shine tonight, and I know he did. Literally, like if we all stick together. Right, and we're in the DAO, like the DAO games with you, like we're all in it, right? If we stick together, if we like help each other out, if we can like guide each other, dude, we are destined for success because the technology's there.
Oh, that's so funny, Robo, man. You need to go back and listen to the start of the space that you didn't hear. I think it was first point we talked about is the sense of community. Yeah.
And you're right. We're all gathered around this chain, and this community is gathered around that technology because we believe in it. Like we see the value in it.
Don't stand around the fire singing "Kumbaya." This is the difference with like what we're trying to do, and I think what you're trying to do, and a few of us, right, is that we're not willing to accept second best or blah 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 the bullshit, right? Like we've seen all that in like the depths of the bare winter blah. We are now building. And no one's going to stop us. And together, united as a community. Fucking, I'm so buzzed up with like I've been having like talks with Risby this week from Gelato, right? And guys, you just wouldn't even believe all he is. There's people in this room now are like, fucking hell, can't even believe Robo's saying these words. There's people in shock, but nah. Like if people like raccoons and Gelato were to like continue like gun against each other and fighting blah blah blah, it's gonna do nothing. But if we come together, right, we're unstoppable. And like the higher ups have to listen, and they are listening. And you know what it is? Is this recorded? I'm going to say something right now, and I'll tag him. Jake, you might want to ghost us, dude. Listen, bro, that's up to you. I get the fact that you're like a bit, you know, you've got the rose tinted glasses on, and I know you man, your little boy, your little gimp. I know you can't like remove yourself from him, blah blah blah. Hey, I get that, Jake. That's fine. But like, didn't ghost the crew. Ghost me, but don't ghost the crew. So, like, if Bruce or Bbandz or Finn or whoever reaches out to Bbandz or whatever, right? Didn't ghost them. Ghost me personally. Didn't ghost the project, Jake, because I believe you're better than that. And that's all I'm going to say about Dow. Because Noah and honestly, Zeke and them, they are, man, so amazing. These people, I've never met greater people in my life. Like, if you jump in their DMs on Discord, just talk to them.
Noah. Yeah, I talked with Noah in the DMs. He's just been sweet with every fucking thing I've asked in that Discord.
Noah's literally like the nicest person I've ever met in blockchain history. He's just beyond belief. Anyway, wait a minute. What about Rebel DeFi? Kris,
just last thing, Robo. Sorry, Kris. I just want to tell the audience as well and ask Kris. So, do you still get airdropped BETS token when you do a bet right now?
Yeah, so right now, this won't remain, but for the beta test period, we're doing 10,000 bets per play. So every time you place a bet, you get 10,000 BETS tokens. We want to encourage people to go stake that in the DAO so that you can begin to help curate and run the games in the future, which will earn you more BETS tokens. So definitely take advantage of that 10K. Once the official version of the game launches and the NFTs are listed on OmniFlix, there won't be 10K bets per play. It's going to be more like 3 to 7 bets per play. So you have a significant chance for 1.5 or 2.5 Juno most of the time to go in there and mint an NFT and play and earn those bets tokens. And we would love to see the DAO grow based on that. You can find the links to my DAO, our DAO for JunoBetz DAO to come place the bets. The instructions are in the description of the DAO.
It's in the first tweet, I think, also, if I'm not.
Yeah. So we have the tweet on that. And for any of you other guys who like OmniFlix, there's a special red versus blue series I released this week. Liam and the General are having the IBC card game. That is, he's in the audience here, Tangled UFCs. He's putting that on today. We created a special bet wager NFT series. It's 40 different NFTs, red versus blue, kind of the Halo style. The blues are for Liam and the reds are for the General. And it's the same concept. You buy the NFT, you're placing your bet. Whichever team loses, you forfeit your money that you spent on the NFT. And 90% of those profits from the losing team will be rewarded to the winning team. They'll split it. So you have potential to buy a NFT for 5 Juno and walk away with between 2 to 4 Juno additional profit. So go check that out. I'll link that as well in the nest.
Awesome. Thank you, Kris, man. Thank you. And now over to Rebel DeFi. Did he really come here to get battered?
Wait a minute, Bruce. We I don't know how old you are. Did you ever watch Dallas when you were a kid? No, you know Dallas.
Oh, yeah, bro. It was one of the only things that was on after I came home from school, man. As a tiny kid, yeah.
Kris sounds like he's right out of Dallas, like, doesn't he? He sounds like he's proper like
JR. I'm fucking JR, bro.
Yeah. What's his name?
JR.
Hey, me and Mr. Fox, I sent Mr. Fox, I heard him on OmniFlix Spaces recently, and I'm like, dude, where are you from? Like, you have to be from the South. But I think me and Mr. Fox might be the only Southerners in the entire Cosmos crypto space.
That's one of my favorite books of all time, The Fantastic Mr. Fox, by your man, Roald Dahl, right? Is got to be one of the greatest, literally, it's so engrossing I can read it on a weekend at the beach or something. It's like anyone knows about Roald Dahl. You can read it overnight if you just get it, if you're bored and you grab a copy or something. But man, I've read them all. And I love Danny Champion the World, blah, blah. But I do think, yeah, man, Mr. Fox, I think he's probably the best. Anyway, yeah, Rebel DeFi, over to you, brother. How you doing? Radio Bangkok. Hello.
What's up, guys? Is Bruce here as well?
Yeah. I'm Bruce. I'm here.
You're kidding me. I thought you went to...
No, he's not.
I thought you went to Bali.
He's not in.
He's in Bali.
Oh, Bruce is not in Bangkok, right?
No, he's in
Denmark. Yeah.
Oh, you're back home. Right. Yeah, it's nice. It's hot. It's I left KL because it was cloudy, and then it's cloudy in Thailand as well. But no, I'm super interested in this call and what Kris has been talking about. Unfortunately, I didn't arrive for the very start. I've just been looking at your project, Kris. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be minting on Juno or OmniFlix or both. Can you just maybe give a quick recap for the sort of the slow ones?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Rebel. Appreciate the question. So right now, for the test run, we're minting all of the NFTs right in DAO, and we're minting them on demand. So if 8 players come in and bet tonight, 8 NFTs will be minted. What we are doing is I'm tracking everything minted on Juno. You'll keep your Juno-based NFTs, and you'll be whitelisted to get an airdrop of the official OmniFlix NFT once it mints. However, everyone that has these Juno, they're still long-term going to be a special edition. You don't just get the whitelisted OmniFlix version. We're going to have special perks and benefits for everyone who accumulates and holds these Juno beta NFTs long-term. So don't trade it, don't list it, don't sell it. You'll want it for special benefits in the future.
Epic. I'm going to have to get...
We really want to take care of the people we really want to take care of the people who are early testers on Juno, and Bruce has been one of those guys. So we definitely appreciate everyone that comes and plays and tests. So we do have long-term plans for the Juno, but OmniFlix is where it's going to be at. We probably won't mint the official collection on OmniFlix until they finish testing this IBC transfers, because what's the point? You can't really do anything with them on Omni other than list them. You can't IBC transfer them over to Juno, and OmniFlix doesn't have their community DAO stuff released yet, and I don't know any dates on when that's coming. So maybe we'll see a Flix bets in the future, but for now it's going to be JunoBetz and DAO.
Awesome. I just want to let the people know, the listeners, I got 100K bets token. I've been betting, man. It's fun.
Yes, he's been betting. He's taking advantage of this 10,000 bets per play. That's for sure. Bruce has been one of our biggest supporters, and we definitely appreciate him. And in the future, that means he's going to be one of those big earners if we can get that growth and the revenue starts coming in. You know, everyone's taking bets. We're not using bets to inflate you and dilute you. We're using the actual revenue from the game and the NFT sales. So it's going to be a much different staking reward than what you're used to, hopefully.
Go ahead, Rebel. I cut you off.
No, so well, listen, when these things hit secondary market, sounds like it's going to be a while out. Later this month, possibly, or soon anyway. Like a bit of shilling here. Like the NFT aggregator that TFM are doing is going to be unveiled on Juno, OmniFlix, and Stargaze. So like, for buying your NFTs, man, honestly, you are in for a treat.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that works. I was reading, I love TFM back from when it was on Terra Luna, and just for the DEX aggregator, but I can't imagine how awesome that's going to be for these NFTs, dude. And see, that's the kind of thing on the front end. Like eventually when we do build out a front end, like having a TFM like integrated into the front end so you could just like get the best deals on NFTs would be an amazing concept.
And just a quick reset. We're talking about Fight Farm, NFTs, betting, and the RAC FM Special drop on OmniFlix. Sorry.
Got the shop. Bruce, I'm going to shop. The weed man's just messaged me to say he's been back. He's been gone 2 days. Oh, I'm on the shit tie stick right now. I'm fucking dying, dude. So what I'm going to do, dude, is I'm going to jump off right now, and I'm going to jump on the phone. So like you're going to lose me back. No, I'm going to get in the shop. I might even come on live when I'm in the shop and ask him like to have a laugh. He's class challat, like he's classist kid. When I walk in, he'll be like, "Ooh, well, look at what I've got for you, fresh from California or fucking Oregon or some shit." Anyway, Bruce, I'll jump down. Bring me back in as a speaker, dude. Is there Risby there? Bring Risby up and all. From
I was just about to say that people from the audience are welcome to come up. Ask Kris a question. Have a banter.
Oh. Right, I'll see you in two seconds while I switch.
So,
see you, bro.
Robo was talking about guys selling joints on the street, but man, I've not got that local knowledge yet. Seen nothing.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Rebel. And yeah, we look forward to TFM. So if anyone else has questions, feel free. And if we need to switch topics, I'm okay with that as well. But yeah, it's all up to you guys.
Yeah, we just shoot from the hip now, I think.
So can I ask a question to Bruceman, considering he's a player? So you're getting these bets tokens. Are you getting like an NFT as well, or is that not at the moment? You're getting like a whitelist or something.
Yeah. I'm getting the NFTs. I think I haven't received it yet on Stargaze. I haven't checked actually, but yeah, I'm getting NFTs from the winning fights.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Bruce has been getting, and what Bruce is doing is smart. So some of the fights he has bet on one side, but on some of the fights he has made separate proposals, and he's bet on both fighters. And I think for him, it's like, well, it's only 1.5 Juno or 2.5 Juno, and if I can accumulate as many of these fighters as I want, if there's 50 total per fighter, and Bruce holds 10 of them, he's going to be able to kind of control the market early on that specific fighter on once he relists them. So I think that's kind of his strategy, if I'm guessing right.
Yeah, you kind of fucking blew that strategy, didn't you? You're talking with some big boys in here.
Did you say Delta Neutral strategy?
What? Delta, what? I didn't understand that.
I
Bbandz.
thought you said Delta neutral. I really thought that's what you said.
No.
This is a really good blunt.
Mine too, apparently. I can't remember what I said, but he fucked up. He blew my strategy. There we go. He fucking blew it.
Yeah, we think that some of these NFTs, like if you can get a big portion of them, if you think about it, every single month there's going to be a UFC fight. I mean, we hope that getting 10% of the total supply as an airdrop will help us mint out and sell all of the NFTs. But 30,000 NFTs, which is 50 NFTs for about 600 fighters, you kind of need that liquid of a market because you have people betting on fights and people who will just want to stake to earn bets. So since you're serving two purposes, you kind of need to start with a decent amount of fighters. But we have a feeling the cheap price is going to cause people to gobble them up, get the airdrop, and then go relist them. At least that's what I think.
Have you thought about doing something with the gelato, Kris?
Yeah, I contacted Gelato. They did respond to me in the DM. I think they want me to not publicly KYC, but they wanted to make sure that I was willing to give them my information. And I said, yeah, so I'll give you my information. Like I'll KYC to you. I said, but I'm not going to like publicly post 100% about me on Twitter, if that's what you're asking. So I'm still waiting to see. I would love to give some NFTs to them to do for their auction, but I would like to wait until it's the official OmniFlix versions, right? You don't want to do the Juno version if that's not going to be the real deal.
Robo, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say though that like literally, Kris, like if you're blessed to like get involved with the guys like the legit as fuck, like they're literally like one of the most legit teams like out there.
Oh,
I know.
Gelato's
Like,
phenomenal.
oh, dude.
I've played the Gelato lottery and I've played the Gelato NFT raffles. Like I love their product, dude. Their UI and interface is so cool. And I'll sit on their spaces every now and then. So yeah, I hope that eventually I can link up with them. But I haven't been pressing that. I was like, well, let me get these minted on OmniFlix, and we'll make sure we mint a few that we can kind of shoot over Gelato if they're interested. I'd love to do it.
I want Dow to let us like automatically execute like from the like staking rewards to buy like raffle tickets. Like you can like restake or you can buy raffle tickets. Like think about it, dude. Imagine if Dow had that facility, right? Like it's ridiculous. Like we've created the Robo sub DAO so I can take care of like staking activities, but like that's the next plan. Is to, like it is. The next plan is to use like when we build up a big enough like treasury of staked assets that's paying stuff, we can start to buy like raffle, of course, dude. And then we can do our own raffles when we win shit. Like, isn't that how this like, bro? Think about it, man. The only people stopping us are the ones that like want to keep us poor. Think about it, right? If all of us have got this like energy,
we can't
and
stay
like,
poor now, can we, Robo? Especially like Robo sub
man.
DAO. That name alone is worth millions.
Dude, I asked the team to like let me take care of stake, and they're like, "Bro, we've got $50 staked. Go on, then we'll give you that one." Bbandz is like, "Nah, man." But we're gonna have the Ambedo like art sub DAO. That's already actually created. We just need to recognize it actually in the prop. And hopefully, I think Brasco and Bruce are going to run the membership DAO. That's going to be cool as fuck. Like, hey, bro, can we create economies? That's all I care about right now, me personally. Like,
I think you're right. And that community and creating economies and that crossover, it works well for everyone, right? So one thing I had in mind...
But not when it's community. No, not when it's community. I mean, Kris, this is the difference. You're providing utility. Many people are providing added value. There are people that are extracting it and people that are living off the community. I'm not going to mention certain projects, nothing to do with like, you know, things with like large eyes that can turn 360 degrees with their heads or whatever, blah, blah. Like, all I'm saying is, you know, there are projects to believe in and there are projects to like just fucking walk away from and laugh at, right?
Who you're talking about? Maybe never mind.
My God.
I'm not. I'm only taking the piss. He took the piss out of us the other week.
So you know what I want to see, Robo? Since we're doing like 50 NFTs per fighter, and then in the future, maybe quarterly or biannually, we'll have like new releases, like new versions. Those new versions will be new UFC fighters added to the roster, or say if you have like a Conor McGregor, or a John Jones, someone who has more demand than 50 cards, we'll also have updated art versions for the new versions. I would love to see like a crossover thing where we have like a RAC FM raccoons version of the Fight Farm. Could you imagine every single fighter has a raccoon head instead of their face? And then that, that way you could like split the profits and have like a crossover series. I think that's one thing that the Fight Farm NFTs can do, is work with almost anyone to integrate their different projects into our NFTs.
Bro, you know what I've learned? NFTs are a lot cheaper than fucking merch. I went to find out how much the bobbleheads, the bobbleheads. I've been talking to Moll about bobbleheads for like a year. But I went to find out like how much that cost, like individual. You got it, like if you've got a rack, then you get the bobblehead like built for it, obviously. Bro, you've got no fucking idea if I was to tell you. And by the way, if you get it, it's free shipping. So like that's a thing that I'll throw in, but the cost is gonna throw you. $120, I do. $120 for a bobblehead. $120 for a bobblehead, I'm telling you. Shipped anywhere in the world, but literally $120 for a bobblehead. Bro, I nearly fell on the fucking floor, man.
It's pricey. You'd probably have to like create a couple 100 million of those to get the price down, right? Like you had to buy such a volume before they would give you a price cut.
Dude, look how many people we had apply for that free NFT last weekend. 320. As this grows, think about it. Dude, the NFT we've got dropping on Sheldon, my God, you want to see it? It's fucking ridiculous. Like anyone who doesn't grab this NFT this weekend is a fucking absolute idiot. It's priceless, like. Isn't it, Bruce? It's Ambedo's like best piece of artwork so far, and it encompasses the entire show that we did with Sheldon like 7 days ago, like yesterday.
Absolutely, just staying smiling because I know how it looks, man. And oh man.
Whoa, Bruce, you're breaking up for me, dude. I don't know, Bbandz, is he breaking up for you or what? Rebel?
Yeah, he cut out.
Okay. I'm gonna reset. Just go ahead.
You're good there. You're good there. You're good there. Right.
Okay. But he just submits a perfect piece of art, and then he asks if you got any suggestions. And we have like one or two, and he fucking adds it in the most delightful way. Can't wait for people to see it, man. It's so funny.
And when we do the first 5, I swear to God, there will be a giveaway that like all you're going to want to be in on. Like literally, if you haven't collected the first 5, if you're not in the giveaway, and that's before we even get to 10. Think about it, man. You're going to have some of the most beautiful one-on-one, like RAC FM original podcast show NFTs that this has never been done before. No one's doing what we're doing, but nobody knows yet. You're going to find out when we get to like 5, and then when we're on our way to 10, that's when people are going to be like, oh, fuck. That's when people start selling seed phrases, guys. Go on, Amir.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, Kris. Robo, I'm sorry, Kris, it's not about your project. Although I am a big fan of combat sports, and it sounds great. I like the way you talk. Also, you sound like a really down to earth and knowledgeable. But Robo, I want to ask you if you for the merch, like the bobbleheads, have you thought about a 3D printer? Somebody that has access to a 3D printer.
That was 3D printing. That was 3D printing. Like materials have gone up so much that you wouldn't believe recently. That is 3D printing, bro. And but the thing is, that's like because it's like a singular thing. If you're to get the mass produced, it comes down dramatically. But like, bro, trust me, that ain't cheap. Like, dude, the one-on-ones are not cheap at all. I mean, I would buy like one off for me, like personally, but for me desk forever, But bro, come on, who's gonna fucking pay fucking $120 for a bobblehead?
Yep, but it is a good idea because it's original. It's not like everybody's doing the hoodie and the caps, But that's a very, very good idea. But hope you can get the price down somehow.
I mean, I don't want to hijack this space, mind. I mean, it's all been about Kris, and any publicity is good publicity, Kris, right? But has anybody been watching or following Ryan? Obviously, he's a friend of the show, good friend of the show, good friend of mine. But Raw, I mean, if you look at it compared to like what we're seeing with like the corporation,
the red or blue games, blah, blah, blah. If you look at like Raw on Enterprise, and like, did you say that donation he got of Kojira, like 5K Kojira, whatever it was, from Sumo? Like, bros, like, look at what's happening over there, man, with Enterprise. This is like, I mean, it hasn't got the functionality of what like DAO is, but if you can't convert your DAO, like Ryan's like shown everyone, yeah, very, very clearly, very simply. If you can't and there's very little like behind it except like some trust in him, really, isn't it? Realistically, because he's going to do a few things with the money, blah blah. But like, if you like, how do I say this? Like, if you can't build your DAO into a full-time Web3 business right now, right here in this day and age, like whatever it is, 8th of April, blah blah. Guys, you're in the wrong business. This is the time. It's the period in life to capitalize on the life of the DAO. And like this is what I love about RAC, is that we're taking like proper like little baby steps. Like we're like just no, be careful. But behind it, the plans are gigantic, and we've got the backup. We've got the mouth. Like we've got the fucking minerals to back this shit up. Like people can argue all they want against it. Like, but no, longevity. We'll provide like sustenance. A lot of things you're going to see kind of going to fade, but I've been inspired as fuck by Ryan. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to bring them on, Bruce. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. St. George's Day, it's Sunday in England. I'm going to see if I can get them all on a hangover early in the morning, and Rebel DeFi. Rebel DeFi and myself, if he's here for St. George's Day. I know he's Scottish and he hates us, but he might join in the fun. I don't know. Rebel DeFi, would you join in the St. George's Day celebration with those cunts for a laugh? Listen, and have you been impressed with Ryan's DAO or what?
I got an airdrop of some Roar. Very impressed with the Galactic Punks. Actually, we donated 2 Galactic Punks into Lion DAO. It's great. It's great what he's doing, and I'm really interested.
Donate book all to RAC FM though. We're just plebs, right? Well, nah, man, I'm only joking, bro.
You were talking about community earlier, and like MB, he's in the audience with his Poly Lion there.
Community, that's the problem, Rebel DeFi, isn't it? Listen, where is the borderline between utility and community? You know,
It's a fine line. But like, what do you mean by community? Like, are you talking like cosmonauts in general? Because like Terra are part of the cosmos.
Well, no, I would say if you look at Rec Gang are the gleaming perfect, and it's not negative, mind, but they're the perfect example of community, where there's absolutely nothing going on in the fucking product whatsoever than the community around it. And they've built what they've built, which is to be respected and regarded as being fucking class, I think, like, and epic. And you saw the amount of bulls that were staked on the DAO and blah, 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 and the fact that didn't decide to move the bulls over, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, you know, like, bro, we all like piss over each other. We all like joke on each other, but we all also like respect, like, Rebel DeFi knows what I mean. When Robo's on a waffle, he's like, no, I know what Robo's on about.
Listen, you reminded me of the St. George's Day thing. Are you saying St. George's Day is tomorrow? That's like Easter Sunday.
Not the 24th, 23rd.
Oh, right.
23rd.
Listen, I went to...
We're going to have a party.
That sounds good. That sounds epic, yeah.
We should host from Bangkok, the two of us, shouldn't we? We would joint host together.
And is Soy not in Bangkok as well just now? There's surely more than just us.
Not yet. Dude's been coming since January. I'm not holding me fucking breath for that one. Jesus Christ.
Listen, in 2002, can you remember like a big sporting event? What was the big sporting event in 2002 out in Asia?
After the Sydney Olympics in 2000?
Okay, so...
I remember kind of 2002. It
was split in 2002. It was split across 2 countries, Japan and South Korea.
Oh, you mean the World Cup?
The fucking World Cup. Were Scotland in the World Cup? Where the fuck? England were. Man, I was dressed up like David Beckham with that spike thing going on in the middle. I went to every single England game. So yeah, man, I'll come out for some St George's.
There you go. You heard it here first, Bruce. That's a moment. That's a moment in time. Anyway, though, guys, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. This Ryan shit, this is kicking right off. Like, it's a one to keep your eye on. Like, for how, like, if you want your doubt to progress, like, and you want to, like, you know, grow a business, just watch what's going on. I think he's on like day 10 now or something now. He doesn't even know what's going on. That cunt. He's like every day probably. I kind of wait to get him on. That's why the St George's thing came in, because I'm going to get him on. All right, we'll have some crack, bro.
I'll be honest with you, it's getting scary because like the airdrop I got, I think it was like 1 million roar or something like that. I just had a look at it today, and I think it was like $10 or $20 when I got it. It was 250 today.
Oh, that's fun, huh? It's nice to get shit like that.
Yeah, but like it was almost more fun when it wasn't worth anything, because then you could do all the DAO stuff. But like people are going to be like, "Hey man, that's $250. I'll take some of that." So we'll see. We'll see.
I will say, like I said earlier, you know, RAC FM DAO are taking baby steps, like, and then that's the key at the minute. And then people are going to like. Probably this space will be like look back on in 6 months and be underrated. That like watch everyone else, just sit back, jump in the hammock, relax, grab a mojito, all right, chill out because it's Thailand, it's nice weather, and just watch what's happening, watch the landscapes, watch how things transcend, because you're going to see so many things fizzle out. We've already seen like the fizzle, you know, like a firework, like a dead firework, like. You've already seen this with so many things, and it's gonna get worse. Go on, Bbandz, you're giving an emoji. She knows what I mean, right?
Yes, I do know what you mean, but I was also laughing, but I gotta go because we're gonna do some Easter egg stuff right now for Easters.
Easter? It's not Easter. Surely it's not fucking Easter.
They do the Easters like, you know, like the little egg hunts and stuff like that. That's the only time we go to church, when there's an egg hunt.
I thought that was the end of April or something. I thought that was like weeks away. Is it? It's not Easter, is it?
It's Easter Sunday.
It's like, I think it's Sunday or something. I'm not sure. I gotta go. Bye, guys.
Sick Andrew.
Like, see you, Bbandz. Thank you for coming on, man. Always a delight.
So where's Rebel DeFi? Where in Bangkok are you now, Rebel DeFi? Not that I'm going to hunt you down, but where are you?
Listen, I don't even know. Even the taxi driver couldn't find this place. I'm going to need to have a little look. It's not fully in, but it's kind of airport side of the city. I'm coming out my Twitter, so hopefully I'm still talking. I was just wondering, you're saying you're taking baby steps, but the question I've got for you is, like Kris was talking about, his 16-year plan. So come on, Robo, have you got a 16-year plan?
No, not whatsoever. I mean, we're just like day by day, like honestly, grind by grind. We're like, okay, well, we can do this. This one keeps like performing, and then I'll come back. We're like, oh, there's an email to some L1 about something, and then these are like, oh, fucking hell, we better work. And then I don't know. It's self. Perpetual kind of motion, you know, like kind of cycle that's going on with us. I don't know. We've started it, so we can't finish, if you know what I mean. I'm sure we'll get that reference, right? I've started, so I'll finish.
Did you just compare RAC FM to the expansion of the universe?
Pretty much. Mm-hmm.
I like it, man.
Who's going to argue?
Yeah. Not me, man. Not me. I'm also a part of that expansion.
Yeah, man, I just like literally about a week and a half ago or something, not even that. I was like, Bruce, are you going to apply for some DAO tokens? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm just like, well, we've like done some commits. We've done some stuff. We deserve some tokens, but like I'm too busy, can't take care of it. And then, yeah, your man got approved today. And it was like, all right, okay, class, Bruce. I love it. He only got half of what Rama got, but never mind. We'll build slowly. We've still got the first fucking audio NFT. I don't care. We've still got that claim to fame.
It's perfect. It's nice, man. I sent it to the treasury, so now we just need the prop to pass so we can see it in the RAC FM treasury.
And then I can take care of staking, right? Because I've got the staking authorization when your man sorts it out, when Noah sorts it out. He said he's going to drop the fix this weekend. I felt the right pleb putting that up. But you notice I said trial in when I put it up, yeah? You notice I said trial in
Yeah. That was why I also just passed it, even with the error message.
It failed, didn't it? Didn't it fail?
Did you
see the error message?
Yeah, I saw the error member and I closed the prop this morning.
Okay, so you know I'm not a pleb. That's like if I put something up and I look like a pleb, I'm going to be like, oh fuck. As long as you guys know that.
Bro,
it's like,
you can't really talk about being a pleb when you're working with a new tool that's under development. It's really hard to like. It's the tooling that's not completely there yet, but they're working on it, as you said, and they're working really, really, really fucking fast, man. He's gonna drop that fix this weekend. And as Kris mentioned earlier, like you can just write them and they fucking respond on the Discord, and they're all really fucking sweet.
Did you say the grass? Did you say the grass drop? Did you the grass NFT drop?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you not? Okay, fair enough then. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then that's up to you because you're
the grass NFT drop.
That's like literally, if you don't know what I'm talking about, bro, that's up to you. Like, but. Anyway, I could talk about that because I talked about a conversation I had with someone 48 hours earlier about mass dropping NFTs on DAO, but I wouldn't do that because I'm a gentleman and I'm not a fucking shit cunt like some people are. But never mind. I'll let you work out what that one means. Just remember Robo's receipts are long and the hard and the painful. Never mind.
Bro, you need to say something more about that, man. You just stunned the whole room, I think.
Not really. Kris was laughing. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I saw the grass. So that was his attempt at doing the mass NFT drop tool, the new one.
After my conversation, after my extensive conversation about massive NFT drops with Noya, and about SSV files, CSV files versus JSON, blah blah, with DAO, yeah. That's an interesting topic for another conversation because fucking I've just realised this fucker's recorded. Never mind, Bruce. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's
move on.
Let's do it.
Nobody wants to front run RAC FM on DAO, do they? But never mind, we front run them on OmniFlix anyway. We just dropped like 320 NFTs, man. Like a one-on-one. We just dropped, dude, 320 NFTs into wallets. How cool. I love it. We're about to do it again.
I fucking love it too, man. I've been claiming my ass off.
Is that Cosmos Clear down there? That's Cosmos Clear in the audience. Hey, Clear, if you haven't got yet, fucking airdrop from OmniFlix. Airdrop. If you haven't registered for the next NFT. I mean, Bruce literally, Sizzler's like said, just like tell me when to close it down. We can do it after this space, dude. So like if you haven't got the second one, if you haven't been paying attention, if you haven't been following the shows, if you haven't been doing what I've been telling you, like, fucker, if you didn't get the second one, then you're not going to get in the club, dude. That's it, game over, right?
It is.
That's
it really, really is.
Lying there as well. You had like a 24-hour claim window. Get those tokens, or you lose them.
Correct. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. Like, if you're not fast, you're last. Like, so, guys, yeah, there is a like link up above. And you know something, I'm thinking about, Bruce, opening up this like thing where like anybody that did grab the second one, if they missed out on the first, we might hold like a thing where they might be able to grab the first. I know there's a few people in here that like managed to be able to get hold of one. Kris, the home pleb, not mentioning anyone else, right? You know what I'm talking about. But dudes, seriously, there's going to be 10 of the greatest like one-on-ones you're ever going to see. You're just going to want it in your OmniFlix collection forever. That's the top and bottom of it. Is that like in 10 years in your wallet, that's like your kids are going to be looking like that. They are like timepieces. They are pieces that reflect a moment in time. And watch what we've got coming. Like, I'm so excited, man. Just to be able to do this shit for free as well, man. It's so good, like, to give back. And we've got a charity collection on my Bruce. Do you want to tell them about
We
the charity?
do.
They're going to launch on Stargate or not? Go on, tell them about the Wheelchair Mafia. Go on. Michael's coming on next week, bro. So Michael's coming on like either the 13th, 14th, or 15th next week. Michael's going to do a space with me. So yeah, go on, Bruce. Talk about this quickly.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So RAC FM is going to release a 555-piece collection of the Wheelchair Mafia that is inspired by real-life dogs with wheels down in Thailand. It's a dude called Michael that runs a charity called The Man That Rescues Dogs. And he's just been doing some really, really, really good work. So RAC FM is going to make a collection. It's just going to launch and be published on Stargaze. I can't fucking wait for that to happen, Robo. It's going to cost, 555 stars?
What's the significance, though, of Thailand and the 555, though, right? You know this one, yeah?
Yeah, it's a thing that all your Thais write behind at the end of your messages. It's like ha ha ha, right?
Correct. The word five means ha, or that's how you say it in Thailand, right? So ha. So like the Thais have developed this thing over years with like mobile phones and texting, where like 555 is like ha ha ha. And like why we did this is like celebrate that if you watch the video that we've got that's like coming with these, like the real life video of the real life dogs, yeah. Like there's nobody in this room. I mean, Bruce, can you go and grab it from his page, yeah, from his YouTube and put it in the net for me, yeah? I think I've posted a few times. It's on Winston Dow's pin tweet if you jump on there, Bruce.
I'll try and find it. I just want to mention real quick that what's also special about this collection is that 75% of the mint revenue is going to be directly donated to these fucking sweet little beings, the Wheelchair Mafia.
Of course, that's the entire thing. But the idea is literally, guys, it's been born from the Wheelchair Mafia. Why they call them the Wheelchair Mafia is because these dogs, right, even though they've like lost the use of the back legs or lost their back legs, etc., right, or even like, you know, some of them only got one leg left, they don't like give a fuck. They just come out like every night. So he owns this like big massive complex and they've got this private road, blah blah blah. And every night, you know, they let the Wheelchair Mafia out at the same time, like every night. And when you see them come out, man, like the video is like every night for what they do. And it's fucking unbelievable. Like the life in these guys, man, it's just insane. So, yeah, man, it's only going to raise about $6,000, right? It's a small collection, 555. It's like 555 stars. It's fuck all. Like, it's like literally you're just donating a charity. But you're going to get a Stargaze NFT and be part of the Wheelchair Mafia and be in the raffle for a Gelato NFT, you know. And it's I don't know, it's something that's really like close to me heart. I've been talking about this for fucking a year. Bruce knows I've been talking about Winston Dow and about helping stray dogs in Thailand and that. And like the, you know, helping my friend's charity that I've been like known him for like 6 years. I've rescued a dog from him. It's very personal, very like, near to me heart, near to me like life, where I live, blah, blah, blah. And we just want to like, I don't know. So yeah, 75% of them, 25% of RAC FM, and then we can go on. Maybe we can buy some merch, do some giveaways with it. Like it's not about making money, it's about making a difference, right, Bruce?
Absolute is, man. I put a video up in the nest from the Wheelchair Mafia. And like, yeah, how can you not fucking want to?
Videos you'll ever see. That's one of the greatest videos you'll ever see. If anyone in the world can watch that video and not tell me that your heart is not fucking immediately emulsified into like mush, like I didn't believe like your story, like literally that's what makes me tick. Seeing that video, just like I get up in the morning and I feel like a better person for none. I want to help. I want to like drive like the message forward. And I mean, what's in September? Can you remember when we did the EMA with Michael? Were you there, Bruce, or not? For the Angel EMA with Michael?
Yeah. I remember.
That was like back in September, yeah? By then, Michael had already had over 600K or like 500,000 baht in crypto, like donations. He like crypto has been one of the biggest lifelines for him. And I've been one of the biggest instigators of it.
Like, if anyone knows Small, the only reason, like, Small's pinned tweet is about Michael is because of me. Simple fact of life. Like, I brought their attention to it, like, and bang, it was on there. And it's constantly, like, retweeted. And since then, the donations have been insane. So, yeah, man, let's keep going. And yeah, you know something, let's project this image that, fuck, it's not all about us, man. Like, once you make a bit of money, blah, blah, whatever.
Robo, if you go back on the Raccoon Discord, you can see Raccoons from the beginning were all about charity. A year ago, we were having conversations about how to split revenue into charities, different charities, and all this stuff, man. So it's just a part of our value set. It's a part of our virtue. It's a part of who we are, Robo. We want to give back.
Dude, RAC FM. Winston Dow was one of the first suggestions. I mean, that account's been created like how long? And I'm not going to talk about the people that have like kicked it to the side and shit on it. But that was one of the first ideas. But just watching like Ryan's success, like going back to what I was bringing this up for, going back to Ryan's success, Jesus Christ, man, bro. Like, the only limitation to your DAO is your imagination and your drive and your commitment and your marketing ability for everyone. Like, it's up to you. The possibilities are fucking endless with what we can do right now.
I'm just thinking about when you connect, like, let's say, a Raccoon supply written custom minter to your DAO, and you just start doing reckless stuff with it on the blockchain. The possibilities are endless, bro.
Bro, the custom mint is nothing. Watch what we start selling soon. And watch when they have to fucking pay for fucking services in Raccoon.
Yeah, let me just drop like a two-word alpha.
Bruce, can I let the room? It's a small room. Can I give them alpha or not?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, I think. But yeah, go ahead.
I'll give them free alpha. Listen, anyone in the room, listen to what I'm about to say to you. And bring Straylight up, Starlight, you know your man. And Will, if he wants to come up and have a talk. Because Will, we've got a few words if you want to come up, mind. Right. I'm just going to say one thing about Raccoon. They vested for 6 years, right? Do you not think...
5 more. 1 year's best.
Wait. Guys, listen, they vested for 6 years. Do you not think the long-term vision of like what the value that we're going to create, yeah, for the actual token, like, do you not think that, like, if you think right now that they were worried about like the token price or blah, 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 whatever, right, of the RAC token, this is like the biggest fallacy on earth. Wait until Raccoon as a service or even AI as a service, right, is payable only in the Raccoon token. The value, like the incurred value is just ridiculous.
You're telling, bro, I'm not finished accumulating. You're saying too much, man. I was just giving them 2 words, man. This is the second time on this fucking recorded space some fucking chat comes in and just shits on my strategy. What's going on today?
Well, wait a minute, guys. Listen, I'm going to intro something. Bruce, before we go there, is there anything you want to say? Yes or no?
Oh, I just wanted to say machine learning, but that was it.
Right, I'm about to say something very quickly, yeah?
See you, Rebel. Thank you for jumping up, man. Always a pleasure. Stay safe in Bangkok.
What do you think he's gonna say? This is what we call a cliffhanger. But it doesn't really matter because there's not really a cliff. Find out on the next RAC FM.
It's the RAC show coming from the RAC store. With this back in the Mac in the back flow. Let's go, chillin' with raccoons by the back door. Take calls so you can stake more. All I wanna do is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We RAC real bitch, ready to fight. So many raccoons ready for the boss life. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Raccoon supply has the right price. Give giving you respect if it's likewise. So I'm buying all the mean guys with the clean heart. Read between lies, laser beam through lean eyes. Larry or with clean lies, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise. NFT wise, fuck with these guys. It's the rack rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy rack rap from the stash app. Rack will taking lead in this haystack. It's the rack rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy rack back from the stash app. Rack will taking lead in this haystack. Blast that rack rap from the stash app. Supplying the raccoons with a headbang rap. Rack gang with the rack will slang like a trash can. Hoodie with fangs and a gold chain. It's either rack will or the red pill. Best chill while we get into the first meal. Best feel, best devs with the best skill. No shill, all real, secret is a great deal. Rack will insane, Shane better stand fast. Robo shooting his tweets with straight facts. Knowledge from the street, with the best plan yet. Winston gotta eat if you retweet that. Free alpha life feed from the base camp. McKenna always ready if you dare that. Buying all raccoons for his rare stash. Trash panda biker gang motherfucking hashtag. It's the rack rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy rack rap from the stash app. Rack will taking lead in this haystack. It's the rack rap from the back lab. 100 NFTs in my backpack. Crazy rack back from the stash app. Rack will taking lead in this haystack.
Terror Spaces.